Hi everyone, so today is Easter Saturday and it's a fitting day here. It's very cold, grey and windy. Let's see if you can see the outside. And yes, I haven't taken my Christmas tree down and I'm not taking it down. This year I just felt that I want to keep it up. But yes, it is Easter Saturday. And for me, this is a day where, in a way, I'm thankful. The suffering of the Lord is over. That brutal crucifixion, standing by the cross, watching him suffer, and going through my own lack of patience, especially in the church. My lack of patience. I honestly felt like telling those women sitting around me, like, can you not keep quiet? Why did you come to the church if you're just going to sit here and chatter the whole time? But I didn't. So sometimes it gets too much. I actually just get up and I move to another seat because the talking that's going on just distracts me from the mess. But today I wanted to reflect for Easter Saturday. We'll be going into the vigil and we'll be going into the church, walking us through the creation story and then the story of Isaac and God stopping the killing of Isaac. And then we'll be going into God's promise of this life-giving water, which nothing can take away from us. It's not something that can be quenched. It's given by God. And then moving into the celebration of the resurrection of the Lord. Yesterday, I was quite surprised at the wording they used for the Vatican. They called it the celebration of the Good Friday Mass. In the past, they used to call it the commemoration, which I felt was more fitting. But anyway, it's a new Pope, so I'm also adjusting to him and to his style and his leadership of the church. And I was more comfortable with Pope Francis and Pope John Paul II, because Pope John Paul II is the one I grew up with. So I was more comfortable with their styles of leadership, but I'm getting used to him. Also, all the images of our beloved Pope Francis have now been taken down in the church, including the Share Life posters. So we are transitioning slowly. Our church left the posters up right up to now, right up to the Holy Week celebrations, like this Good Friday, it was gone. So it's good to reflect on, we've moved now from Jesus being Prince of Peace, Wonderful Counselor, to Jesus being the King. And who calls him King? Is it us? Is it his followers? Who calls him King, and why do we continue to call him King? It's the Romans, the ones who the Jewish people went to and said, we have no king but Caesar. They acknowledge him as king. They acknowledge that, yes, you are king. And where does this come from? It doesn't just come from them saying it. And Jesus is saying, my kingdom is not of this world. My kingdom is not here. If it was here, my people would not allow this to happen. And the Romans insist on leaving that plaque, the King of the Jews. So why does it come through so strongly for this Easter Saturday? Because this is the start of the reign of Christ. So evil hasn't won. Evil still exists in the world because he hasn't been accepted fully. And it is there. But they knew from the time he was born that this would be their king. And they were searching for him from the time he was born. And it's written in the prophecies, and they've seen the prophecies unfolding. They know what's been happening. They know his ministry. They know what he's been doing. And that's why when they take him out onto the balcony, they say, Pontius Pilate says, I find no wrong with him. let me release Barabbas to you, because he's the one that's done wrong, and let this man go, because he's good. And they shout, crucify him. So in Zimbabwe, the Mass is very different to here. When we do the Mass in Zimbabwe, and there's a lot more of the people's participation. And especially with Good Friday, with the service, the parts that just the readers read out, the people also participate. We say, crucify him. We have no king but Caesar. And it becomes very much like we are crucifying Jesus. And the church in Africa wants us to know that. So it's very, very different to the church in Canada, where it's like watching a play unfold. And many people that come to the church, even when I initially joined Blessed Sacrament, they used to say to me, oh, you came to watch the show. And I used to say to them, what do you mean? And they're like, you'll see, you're from Africa, right? I said, yeah. So that's what they mean. It becomes like a play. It becomes like they are performing the sacrifice and you are just there watching. So it's a very different way of participating in the Good Friday service. And I watched yesterday, I posted the links to the Vatican services, and I participated in those by watching online, including the Stations of the Cross. And Pope John Paul II, I think he also did those. He went and he carried the cross, and then the years after that, they had the lay people doing it. They had other people doing it because our Pope was sickly. So he didn't go, but it was nice to see Pope Leo carrying the cross and to participate, and also to listen to his homilies. I like it. I usually tune in to the Shalom World, because with the Vatican, they have the sign language and they have the interpretation. And for me, it's too much. It's like it's too much happening at the same time. So I tune into the Shalom World, because then I get the English translation and I can follow. So I don't speak Italian and any other languages. I'm not like the Jesuits. I still don't know why Damien chose me to go into this ministry, because most of them are very highly qualified. Many of them come from rich families, and they speak many languages. So if you look at Father Peter Knox's resume, it's like 10 or 12 pages, and he speaks many languages. And many of the priests are like that in the church. I don't. I mean, I have basic Konkani, which my grandfather taught me, and basic Portuguese. And I grew up with English as my mother tongue. So they are very distinguished men. And I don't go there. Even the college, when I used to study, I used to love going to the college. But now I don't go. Unless Gordon invites me, and Gordon's on leave right now, Gordon Rickson. Unless he sends me an invite to come, I don't go. So, yeah, it's just a very different way of thinking of the Gospels. Like, where is this title coming from now? King of the Jews, Jesus our King. Where is it coming from, and what type of kingship does he hold? He's not the type of king that we had in the English people that conquered lands and took the jewels and took the crowns and created slavery. He's a very different kind of king. And it's not his own people that give him that title. It's the Romans. They recognize his kingship in what he's done for his people, because they do the same for their people. They look after them, they cherish them, they value them, and that's where the title comes from, King. Jesus our King. There's this big movement right now in America, no kings, but I have a king, and I keep him as a king. And I keep the king of rock and roll. And I want nothing to do with this one campaign. They're very corrupt. You talk to any volunteer that came in after Ndidi took over, and we all walked with our feet. all of us. When they did that launch, people were just like, oh, is this what it's going to be? And even them now, I posted that thing about drop the debt. Then they started doing it. They mustn't piggyback off my work. It's done. Bono and I have nothing to do with each other. He sent a message to the church to say Belinda and I are not together, so he must live it now. They're going to catch them. President Trump is not going to let go. He's already going after the people because he knows there's corruption. And I am not part of Bono's life. I just want that to be very clear. Elvis is the king for me of music. And if people don't like it, that's tough. But that's what I reflected on for Easter Saturday. Who is king? And who gave him that title? King. Jesus. Who made him king? And who crucified him? It was us, because we carried that title forward.